To buy in a recession or not to buy in a recession? That is the question, and that is literally what everyone's gonna be asking themselves over the next 6 to 12 months. Let's discuss. Hi, welcome back to another Coffee with Coleman. We love to discuss Washington, D.C., business, real estate, all that good stuff. My name is John Coleman. I'm a real estate agent here in Washington, D.C. with the Jason Martin Group. Favor, if this is helpful, if you like learning about recessions in D.C. and all that stuff, then go ahead and hit the like button because it lets me know you're there. And if you want to stay up to date on all this stuff, click subscribe because it'll alert you when I release new stuff that might be cool for you too. So buying in a recession, there's going to be pros and there's going to be cons. My goal is not to tell you whether it's right or wrong, but I want to tell you the pros and cons that you need to be thinking about whether it's right for you. And so here's what I'm thinking about as we're going through the process and what I'm discussing with purchasers and sellers today. Let's start with the pros. Number one, interest rates are typically lower during a recession. And we've been dealing with some high interest rates recently. And according to bankrate.com, mortgage rates are at an all-time low typically during a recession, making it the ideal time to buy a house. Now, are we gonna go all-time low compared to where we were earlier? No. Are we gonna be lower than what we dealt with at the end of 2022? It seems like it. I mean, as the great Warren Buffett once said, interest rates, that's the key. That's the game changer. The second pro is there's less competition from other buyers. With the economy in a downturn, some of the people are hesitant to buy a house, so there are maybe less bidding wars to deal with than maybe we've seen in the past. According to MPAMag.com, this means buyers can take their time to find the perfect home and may not have to rush into a decision when they felt like they needed to previously. Number three is you might have a better chance of negotiation on price. If the seller is motivated to move the property during a recession, they may be more willing to accept a lower offer. According to Forbes, during a recession, a lot of sellers are willing to part ways with their property at a lower price. And they also might be willing to negotiate a little bit more and let you have more contingencies to protect yourself. The fourth pro is sometimes there's some government incentives to buy homes during a recession. For example, some countries offer tax breaks or financial assistance to encourage people to buy homes, as reported by money.com. Now, a lot of that does take a little bit of time to come down the road at us, but it's opportunities to keep your eyes open for, and we're already starting to see different mortgage programs and different things that are becoming available that are going to be beneficial for purchasers looking to get into this market. So make sure you're staying up to date with your lenders about what's happening in the world today. On to the con. Let's talk about the cons. So the first con is the housing market can be unpredictable during recession. According to bankrate.com, the housing market is often affected by the overall economy and can be difficult to predict how it's going to behave during a recession. So a little bit more wild factor out there. Number two is it might be harder in getting approved for a mortgage. According to the mortgage associations, during a recession, lending institutions may be more cautious about approving mortgages they may require like a higher down payment, a better credit score, or it might just cost you more money. I've seen situations where the funding fee just costs more because there's a higher risk to them and they're passing that along. Number three is you have a harder time selling your home if you need to move. So according to Forbes, during a recession, the number of buyers in a market may decrease, making it harder to actually sell your property. So if you need to sell your property to buy a new property, that first part might be a little harder than it's been in the past. So if you have questions about how to do that at scale, I do have a video that's dedicated to buying and selling at the same time, and it has the pros and cons of what to be thinking about there. Recommend checking that out. So the fourth is you may experience some financial stresses. According to money.com, during a recession, jobs start to get lost. Salaries can come down a little bit. And if you just exerted yourself and stretched your budget to get into a new place, and you get something like that happens in your life, that adds some additional stresses that you need to be thinking about. So people that are a little bit less risk or more risk adverse, they would be more willing to just sit back and wait for things to ease up as opposed to going during the uncertain times. All right, so there you have it, folks. Those are some of the pros and cons of buying a house during a recession. As always, do your own research and consult with a financial advisor before making any big decision. And each market varies. So here in DC, will be different than Boise, Idaho. It will be different than San Francisco. It's going to be different than even Baltimore, which is just up the road. So it's things that you need to consider about and talk with various professionals to get the best information for your specific situation. And remember, whether it's a recession or a boom, the most important thing is that you're happy and comfortable in your new home. And that is something that we would love to help you with. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, I recommend liking and subscribing. It lets me know that you enjoyed it, and it lets you know when I release other cool things that might be helpful for you as you're going through this stuff. So thanks again for stopping by another Coffee with Coleman. Peace.